Hello and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. I'm Chrissy. I'm the Mum Boss. Bossed. I'm the Mum Boss. And I'm going to talk to you today about overwhelm and menopause. Because one of my one-to-one clients today was talking to me about feeling quite stressed, feeling quite overwhelmed with everything that she has to do in work, in home, all of the stuff. You get it, I get it, we know what it's like. And so I really want to talk to you about finding calm in the storm. We're going to go a bit sciencey, we're going to talk a bit practical, and some of this stuff might be really achievable for you. Some of it you might never have tried before, some of it you will know hasn't worked for you in the past, but I want you to give some of the new stuff a try. I'm going to be really honest in this. Overwhelm is something that I can sometimes not help myself with. I can get into overwhelm and I can make that worse for myself. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So if you've ever felt like your mind is racing, your emotions are all over the place, or you just can't keep up with daily life, this episode is for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is just how normal overwhelm is. It's normal in everyday life, not just in menopause. And it's not, so I want you to understand it's not in your head, okay? The life that we live is an overwhelming life. But hormonal changes also affect your brain chemistry, they affect your sleep, they affect your tolerance to stress. So when we add those two things together of this really busy, crazy life, caregiving, whether it's for kids or elderly parents and relatives or both, you've got work, you've got the house, you've got the pets, you've got the friends, everything, it is no wonder that you feel maxed out. So if you feel behind, if you feel like life is messy, if you feel like it's too much, you're not broken, you are human. Welcome to humanity, honey. Pull up a seat, make yourself a cup of chamomile tea and let's talk about it. It doesn't have to be chamomile tea. I actually don't like chamomile tea, so, don't blame me if you don't drink it. Let's just take a step back and just talk a little bit about the science behind this, okay? The shifts in your estrogen and progesterone during perimenopause, postmenopause, or just generally during your cycle can affect your mood regulation, it can affect your focus, it can affect your energy. And if you add to that, often in menopause, we have sleep disruptions as well. So add on to that the fact that you're probably fatigued, you're not getting enough sleep. Add on to that the time of your life, even without perimenopause, if you've got elderly parents, you've got children, whatever age they are that need caring for, they might be young, or like me, you might have teenagers, or they might be grown up, you might be taking them back to university. That's like a time in your life. This is a time in your life. We call it the sandwich season, because you've got, your parents need more care than they did 10 years ago, and your kids need a different kind of care as well. Then also cortisol, when all of these things are going on, these are all stressors on our body. So not just the external stress, of, oh, wow, life is stressful, there's a lot going on. But things like lack of sleep, low energy, those fluctuating hormones, this means that your stress hormone, cortisol, can spike more easily. Now, this is where I want to debunk a little bit of a myth, because you will notice that there are quite a few people on social media who would like to blame cortisol for everything. So if you are trying to lose body fat, it will be because your hormones, your cortisol is spiking. They'll tell you that. or you can't lose fat because your cortisol is spiking. Let me just say, we need cortisol. It's a perfectly natural hormone, and if we didn't have it, we would die. So we do need cortisol. It's what gets us to spring into action in certain situations. But during this time of your life, that cortisol, that stress hormone, can be present more often and can spike more easily. Okay. And all of the things that are going on just amplify your body's stress response. And actually, they all feed into each other. And I want you to remember that this isn't a weakness. This is biology meeting your very busy life. So let me tell you a little bit about what's gone on for me over the last couple of weeks whilst I clean my glasses, if you're watching me on a video, because you know me, always having to clean the glasses. So I came back from my almost 3 weeks away on holiday, where I had gone into a bit of a soft launch, so gently talking about my Hotter Than Hell programme, which started today. And whilst I was on holiday, I did a bit of work every day, but I didn't go hard into kind of pushing this program. I wanted to wait until I came back. So when I came back, kind of got that first week of getting Charlie back to school, getting everything ready, and then I went full steam ahead into promoting the program. And let me tell you, for the last 2 weeks, in fact probably the last 3 weeks, my sleep has been absolutely shocking. And it was such a shock to me because on holiday I was getting so much sleep. I was sleeping till 7:30 every morning. It was so nice. I came back so refreshed. I slept the best I've ever slept on a holiday before. And I was just finding that I was waking up an hour to 90 minutes before my alarm every morning. And so it wasn't, I wasn't doing loads of mornings of like 4 or 5 hours sleep, but I was underslept by a good hour every night. And what I soon realised was that a lot of this was down to the stress of launching this program. Now, I love my job. I absolutely love this program that I've launched. I believe in it so fully, but launching a program in my business and putting yourself out there and bringing people into the business is something that can be super stressful. And so it was no surprise to me when on Saturday night and last night I slept so well. Like incredibly well. On Saturday night I had 9.25 hours sleep. Last night I had 8.5 hours sleep, because I was coming to the end of the launch period and the brain fog, and the program was starting today. Now, if I think about how much overwhelm there was for me in the last couple of weeks, it was definitely not as bad as it used to be, because I've done so much work on myself and centering myself and managing my stress than I ever had done before. But there were points where I felt just completely overwhelmed. I said to my own coach at the beginning of last week, I think it was Monday in my check-in, like, I feel so stressed and overwhelmed and just so tired. So it's natural, it's normal, but I recognise it so much more, and I recognise my triggers. So I don't see it as a weakness, and I don't want you to see it as a weakness anymore either. So let's think about and talk about some really kind of gentle strategies for calming yourself in that chaos. Okay, one of the things that I have absolutely just fallen in love with is I have an Apple Watch, and on my Apple Watch I have a little mindfulness button, and it must be on my iPhone as well, although I've never searched for it on my iPhone. Mindfulness, no, I don't, it isn't there. And I can set this to go off at points during the day to remind me to just take a couple of minutes of slow, mindful breathing. And it even vibrates in time for when you should inhale and exhale. Now, obviously, this is Apple. I don't use an Android phone, but I am pretty sure most Android phones will have something, or you can download a free app that will help you do that. Because these micro pauses through the day, I do one in the morning, I do one around lunchtime, and then I try and do one just before bed, of slow breathing for just 2 minutes can really help to reset your nervous system. Because that mind racing situation that you get into where you're just thinking, oh my God, I've got to do this and I've got to do this and I've got to do this, is really your nervous system just going into complete overdrive. And that 2 minutes of mindful breathing is really, really helpful. So I encourage you to go and look for that on your phone. There are other apps that you can use. Insight Timer has so many, none of these I am affiliated with, by the way. Insight Timer has loads and loads of like free micro meditations. You can get a free Calm. You can get, what's the other one? There's Calm and there's another one. I can't remember the other one. But there's loads of these that you can just do. Or just set a timer on your phone, close your eyes and do slow, deep breathing for 2 minutes. You might be sitting there thinking, I don't have time for that. That sounds really woo-woo. I don't want to do it. And I get you. I hear you. But please trust me on this. You have 2 minutes. You do have 2 minutes, because I bet you spend 2 minutes scrolling your phone. So promise me 2 minutes tomorrow just to try, or for the rest, like at some point today, to reset yourself. Okay, next one, priorities, not perfection. So instead of listing out all of the things that you need to do, so, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I haven't got time, I need to do this. I want you to think about what matters most right now. Now, if you want to go a bit deeper on this, this is the invitation I've given to my one-to-one client, Laura, today. She feels really overwhelmed with stuff at home, stuff at work, stuff that's going on. So I have said to her, write it all down. And this is a tip onto itself, because at the moment it's all swimming around in your head with no order. It's just complete chaos in your head. So take a blank sheet of paper and write it all down. Just write everything, okay? Now, on that list, there will be several things you cannot control. There will be things that are absolutely nothing within your grasp. There will be things on there you're waiting for someone else to give you something. There will be things on there that aren't even your decision to make. I want you to circle those. They are things you can't have any control over. Right. So say you've listed out 10 things. In reality, I know that it is more than 10 things, but you've listed out 10 things and you realise actually 3 of those things you can do nothing about. You're waiting for someone else to give you something. They're out of your control. It's just not within your circumference of control. Right. Circle it, and we just can't do anything about that right now. The rest of them, I want you to prioritise. What matters most right now? What do I absolutely need to get done right now? And start with one thing. Don't try and do 3 things at once. Start with one thing. Now, I could go into a whole load of tools and tips and help with time management and getting things done and, to-do list management. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to prioritizing and really understanding what it is and isn't in your control. And, I'll also say things like, what can you delegate? What can you postpone? What can you push back? Or what can you decide just you're not going to do? But think about what is the most important thing right now. And I'm not going to go much deeper into that tip, because I want this to be like things you can put into place right now if you're feeling overwhelmed. The next thing is about body kindness, and you surely would have known that I would have talked about this. So movement, hydration, and rest need to be framed of acts as acts of care, not chores. Okay, these are the things that enable you to take brain space. They are the things that enable you to get more energy. I've run out of water. Why did I start recording without water? These are the things that enable you to perform at your most optimum. So yes, you might be stressed. Yes, you might feel overwhelmed. Yes, you might feel like you have no time because there's all these other things that people want you to do. But if you are not moving, hydrating and resting, then you are not going to be able to cope with the overwhelming things that you feel are on your shoulders right now. So when you have, done your list, I want you to get up and I want you to go and do 10 bodyweight squats. And then I want you to go and do 10 star jumps. And then I want you to go and do 10, push-ups or sit-ups, right? Just move. You've got time to do that. That won't even take you a minute. It's not even going outside. Even going outside would be even better, but just moving your body, get your body pumping, get your blood pumping. So often when we're overwhelmed and we feel stressed and we've got loads to do, we just stay stuck to our desk because I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do this and I've got to get through it. And actually moving, hydrating and then resting. So when it comes to the hydration part of this, make sure you've got a bottle of water with you. Make sure you are drinking and keeping yourself hydrated. And then when it comes to rest, the temptation is that you are just going to work and work and work and work and work. You're going to get home from work and you're going to carry on working. You're not going to take any rest, right? This is so topical for me right now. Because in our house, the new Monday night routine is that Charlie has football training. Tom takes him. They go off at about, 10 to 7. They don't get back till about 8:30 or so. So I have this hour and 45 odd minutes to myself on a Monday night. It's bliss, I'm not going to lie. I could quite easily sit at my desk and work for that hour and 45 minutes. So easily. I've always got enough to do to keep me occupied for that long. But I don't. I stop work on a Monday when I'm going down to make dinner, and I make sure that hour and 45 minutes is for me. So yes, I clean the kitchen, I get all of that stuff done, but I have a bath, I go and read my book, I chill out, doing stuff that I don't get to do when they're in the house. So see these things as self-care. Now, you might not have the choice to, have an hour's self-care time to you like I do on a Monday. That's okay. You can take some self-care time in 5 minutes. But when you are stressed and you are tired and you are feeling overwhelmed, just pushing on is not the answer. It feels like it, but it's not. And then the final piece of this is support systems. So this could be speaking to a friend about it. If you've got a coach, it's speaking to your coach about it. Within my groups, this is where I always say, within my client group, share what's going on, share how you're feeling, because someone else might have a different perspective to you. They might have a different perspective to me. If you're constantly feeling overwhelmed and stressed, maybe this is something you need to, take even more seriously and look into some CBT. And even further into this, think about how you could look at something like taking up a hobby. So I really like crafting. There's a lot of crafty things that I do, and I really value doing that when I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, even if I sometimes tell myself I don't have the time to do them. Okay, so they're my top 4 strategies. Now I just want you to indulge me for a couple of minutes. Okay, I want you to sit. If you're driving, don't do this while you're driving. Yeah, so don't do this while you're driving. Save this bit until you get home. But whatever else you are doing, place your feet on the floor. So make sure you can touch your feet on the floor and close your eyes. Take 3 slow breaths. That's 1. That's 2. 1 more. That's 3. I want you to notice 3 things you can hear. So one of them might be my voice. It's really windy outside where I am, so I can hear the wind. And I can hear cars. I want you to think about 3 things that you can feel. So I can feel the material of my leggings. I can feel the ground under my feet. And I can feel my elbow resting on my desk. Now I want you to tell yourself, I am allowed to rest. I am doing enough. I am enough. And take 3 more slow breaths. I really like to do these in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now wiggle your toes on the floor. Open your eyes. And tell me that you don't feel more grounded and more calm now. Okay. Now, overwhelm is not a sign you are failing. It's a signal that you're carrying too much, often alone. And this is like the season of your life that can feel like a storm. But that storm is going to pass, I promise you. And you are stronger than you think. So let's learn to soften the edges together. I would love it if you would reach out and let me know if this helped you. Remember, you can do this, just take some time. If today's episode resonated, please share it with a friend that you think might need it. And also, if you would like help from me on how you can manage menopause, be fitter, stronger, and your absolute best self, come and get in contact with me. All of my links are in the show notes. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.